that's what it was. And after the sparring, we respected each other. Like, it was a different type vibe after we sparred, honestly. Now it was like, oh, damn, bro. Like, damn. Like, we really started to get to know each other, you feel me? Because when he came to our gym, he was popular. Like, Shakur was the guy.
They knew him.
Everybody knew him.
Yeah.
And amateurs.
One thing I can say, though, because, you know, I've been seeing, we've been amateur together and stuff.
Right.
So here's what dropped that had everybody talking. A sparring video leaked showing Keyshawn Davis dropping Shakur Stevenson, and the boxing community went absolutely wild. This footage really put Davis's timing and power on full display, showing just how brutal these elite training sessions can get. Davis made it clear that Teofimo Lopez brings serious heat to the table, having watched both Lopez and Stevenson work since their amateur days. What he's saying is simple: raw talent only gets you so far, but the fighter who brings the right game plan, lightning reflexes, and tactical execution is the one walking away victorious.
How do you see Teo against Shakur playing out? Because you want me to tell you the truth, like, this fight could have been the winner's bracket fight. In other words, they're jumping to it, but at the end of the era, it may have been Teo and Shakur, especially if you would never fight Shakur, right? How do you see this fight playing out?
I see it playing out, let's say, I see it starting off slow.
Okay.
And then I see as Shakur wins the first round, as Shakur wins the second round, slowly, I think Teo is eventually going to start picking it up and start imposing his will.
Right.
And then, you know, it's just going to go from there. That's how I think it's going to go.
That's a fair assessment.
That's a fair one.
Especially for that to be his brother.
Keyshawn Davis broke down what really went down during that sparring session with Shakur Stevenson, making it clear there was nothing personal about it, pure competition. He described how frustrating it was trying to connect clean shots while Stevenson's counters were finding their mark every single time. But here's the thing, Davis never backed down, knowing that any sign of hesitation would be game over. That brutal exchange opened his eyes to just how skilled Stevenson really is, and it hammered home why you can never stop pushing forward and staying locked in.
Boom, sparring day come. I'm confident. I'm knowing I'm about to go in here and beat him up, right? Man, I get in the ring, man. Why I cannot hit this man, right? I cannot hit him, but he touching me. So I was like, oh, this is different.
He different.
Like, he different. So I just keep, you know, I'm 14, he's 16. I just keep going, I just keep going, I just keep going. So some getting through, some not, some getting through, some getting not. And I felt as if I was to step off the gas pedal, he was gonna get me. So I just had to keep going, you feel me? And I know he explained that a lot of times in interviews, like that's why he respect me so much, because in that sparring right there, I didn't respect him at all. I was just trying to F him up, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what it was. And after the sparring, we respected each other. Like, it was a different type vibe after we sparred, honestly. Now it was like, oh, damn, bro, like, damn. Like, we really started to get to know each other, you feel me? Because when he came to our gym, he was popular, like.
Shakur Stevenson's been going absolutely insane during this entire fight camp, showing the kind of focus that separates champions from everyone else. Each training session gets treated like a championship fight, as he perfects his combinations, cranks up his hand speed, and builds that championship level conditioning. But Stevenson's preparation goes way deeper than just the physical side of things. He's breaking down film, dissecting game plans, and running through countless fight scenarios in his head to make sure he's mentally bulletproof. His whole team is obsessed with getting better every single day, whether that's tightening up technique or adding new wrinkles to his arsenal. This level of dedication means Shakur's walking into that ring completely dialed in, supremely confident, and physically peaked, ready to execute every part of his strategy and deliver a masterpiece performance.
The fight is discipline, time away from my family. How you gonna beat me? Ain't no way you can beat me that way, bro. Why I keep saying I'm the best. Niggas don't want this shit more than me. I know it. I know it. I want this shit so bad. So bad. Shit easy, gang.
Easy, man.
Easy.
Always easy, man.
You already know.
Always easy, man.
This supposed to be a sprint.
Let's go.
This ain't no sprint.
No, it's a job. Let's go. We ready. That boy is...
Keyshawn Davis opened up about his deep history with Shakur Stevenson that goes back to day one. These two built a connection that ran much deeper than just training partners, with Keyshawn calling Stevenson family through and through. But even with that brotherhood, an intense competitive fire emerged that drove both fighters to constantly push each other's limits throughout their entire journey. This unique blend of love and competition became the fuel for their development, as they absorbed lessons from each other while battling to reach new heights. Keyshawn made it crystal clear that their competitive edge always came from a place of genuine respect and a burning desire to reach the absolute pinnacle of the sport, boxing.
It's family, bro. Like I'm never ever fighting Shakur. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. It's not even gonna feel right.
What were some of the experiences like with you guys growing up like as young men and young teenagers in Virginia? Like what's some of those things that shaped you to know like he's my brother, man, I could never do that?
Yeah, the moment when I was like, all right, yeah, Shakur, I genuinely actually got real love for you was when I was going through my deep depression times. Even before I was going into the mental home, I used to tell my brother a lot, but then I started like backing off from my little brother because he was my little brother. I started talking to Shakur a lot about like how I was feeling and how I was thinking and what I was doing to myself. And Shakur was just giving me advice that I really like take in and like, damn, okay, I got you and stuff like that. And then I end up going to the mental home and, you know, like he calling me in there, checking up on me and stuff like that. I get out of the mental home, he pulling up on me, making sure I'm straight, making sure I get back in the gym, make sure I continue to do what I love. So he was there for me with my work.
During his appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Shakur Stevenson laid it all out regarding his upcoming battle with Teofimo Lopez. Stevenson, who's built a reputation on surgical precision and ring IQ, fired back at anyone questioning whether he belongs in there with Lopez. He radiated pure confidence while breaking down why Lopez has never stepped in with anyone quite like him. Stevenson made his position clear. This fight would expose Lopez to a completely different level of speed, tactical brilliance, and ring intelligence that no previous opponent had brought. His entire focus centered on the actual fight rather than getting caught up in media noise, showcasing a mentality built around meticulous preparation, flawless execution, and chasing legendary status. What came through wasn't just confidence, but a fighter who truly understands exactly what it takes to break down someone with Lopez's devastating power and proven track record. Stevenson dove deeper into why he refuses to abandon his proven formula. He explained that he won't change his approach just to satisfy critics or get pulled into wild exchanges that favor his opponent. His game plan revolves around methodical execution, maintaining perfect range, and capitalizing on every mistake Lopez makes available. Through staying calm under fire and applying his superior boxing brain, Stevenson plans to control every minute from the opening bell to the final round. This strategy reveals Stevenson's evolution as a complete fighter and his commitment to smart boxing over emotional reactions, proving exactly why he's viewed as one of the sport's brightest tactical minds.
It's cool. I mean, that's their opinion. Like, you know, they could say that. But I know he never fought nobody on my level. Like, I'm 1,000,000% sure that Tio has never seen nobody as good as me in his life.
He's talking about like once he gets through you, then he wants Crawford, names like that. How do you think he would do against someone like Terrence at this point?
I think he gets knocked out.
Can't even hang with him.
Yeah, he's too little. Bud is too big for him.
Right. As far as skills, though, do you think he's on par with the likes of Terrence?
I'm not gonna say he's on a Terrence Crawford level of skills, but he's very skillful. He got a lot of things with him that puts him at a high level.
One thing that was interesting to me was it seemed like you were going to move on from Matchroom, but now Eddie Hearn is involved in this, and this is a Matchroom event, it seems like. I know it's a ring card too, but he's promoting it here in the United States. So what is the state of your relationship with Eddie and Matchroom at this point?
Eddie's my guy. I'm actually not signed to Matchroom, but he's my guy. I'm a big fan of Eddie Hearn, and nothing but respect to him, but I'm glad he's the promoter that's on this card. I'm glad to share the spotlight with his promotional company.
So if he's your guy, how come you're not signed to Matchroom?
I mean, it's just business. If it makes sense, then I will. You know, if it come down to it and that's what makes sense, then we'll do it. But right now, I don't think it makes sense.
Okay, so are you just more of like your own man at this point? Your own entity?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Do you negotiate with the ring people, with Turkey? You just do that yourself?
No, me and my manager, Jay Prince, yep.
Okay.
Bozy Ennis, one of boxing's most trusted voices and analysts, delivered his breakdown of the Stevenson-Lopez showdown while dropping a serious reality check on Teofimo Lopez about the danger of sleeping on Shakur Stevenson. He broke down how Stevenson's speed goes way beyond just being fast. It's a Opiate weapon system that lets him dominate exchanges, slip punches, and set up devastating counter shots. Ennis stressed that fighters who depend too heavily on raw power while ignoring footwork and ring movement usually get picked apart by Stevenson. In Ennis's view, Lopez better come in with maximum respect for what Stevenson brings, because that deadly combination of fight IQ and blazing speed creates problems that most fighters have never had to solve.
And I gotta tell everybody this, what you call him is real athletic too. Teofimo. So I mean, I don't think it's gonna be an easy fight. You know what I mean? People think, a lot of people say it's gonna be easy and all. Nah, Teofimo can punch. And he can box. And like I said, he's real athletic. So, you know what I mean? That'll make it a little difficult right there. You know what I mean?
I see a lot of people going back and forth with it. Some people think Teo got the advantage because of the weight and that he's athletic and explosive. Some people say Shakur is the better boxer.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. How you see that fight ending?
Well, they saying, they got the weight and all that. I see Shakur boxing big guys, light heavyweights and all that stuff. It's like moves. He boxes heavyweights and put the heavyweights down. You know what I mean? I think that's the right move for him. You know what I mean? Get up, and I think he can really do good at that weight.
This isn't a stoppage.
I'm looking at a decision, not a stoppage. But then all according how Till come in. Till come at him. He's gonna run into some shots. It might be over. You know what I mean?
Now, you always tell me it's the shot that you don't see coming.
That's it.
That power is speed.
Right.
So, could it be a situation where people underestimate Shakur's punching power?
Yeah. I think Shakur can punch. You know what I mean? I think he can punch. It's just like I said, speed is power. Not them guys, muscle bound guys come in and they tell me, oh, he can punch and all that. Like I just got finished saying, like you just got finished saying, matter of fact. The punch that you don't see knocks him out. And they always say, man, I didn't see that punch coming. That's the one you worry about for.
Dan Rafael, a legendary boxing journalist with decades of experience, shared his take on this massive fight by breaking down what makes both fighters so special. Rafael painted this as the ultimate contrast between Stevenson's textbook boxing skills and Lopez's explosive knockout ability. He gave Lopez full credit for that game-changing power that can end fights in an instant, while also highlighting Stevenson's methodical style, championship-level ring intelligence, and defensive wizardry. Rafael pointed out that this creates an absolutely fascinating puzzle, since both men possess elite-level tools that could completely control the fight depending on how things unfold. Listen, Teofimo has
a bona fide world champion in 2 divisions. He was the champion at lightweight. Had most of the belts. Defeated Lomachenko. He did suffer the upset loss to Kambosos. There were some physical issues there that we didn't know about going into the fight. Not to make excuses for him, but regardless, he came back and even though maybe he didn't shine and scintillate maybe in some of those fights after that, when it came time to step up and take on the champ, which was Josh Taylor, he shined in that fight. So when Teofimo is matched, in a big time opponent, he's delivered, and he's done it, a number of times. And he looked really good against Taylor. And Shakur, by the way, similar thing. He's been flawless through his career. He may be not the most exciting at times, but Shakur Stevenson gets the job done. He has won titles from featherweight up to lightweight. When his back was against the wall, quote unquote, and everybody had big expectations, and he had a lot of pressure on him not to make it a boring fight and all that kind of business. What did he do in his last fight against William Zepeda? He stood in the pocket and he fought the guy, and he won handily. He shut him out, basically. He won like 10 rounds to 2. I mean, he fought a unification fight against Oscar Valdez, a fighter that, even though he might have been favored, thought maybe Oscar could do some damage because he was a good puncher and had a great amateur background and a great chin and all those types of things. And he went out there and he routed him also. I mean, so, these are 2 of the best young elite fighters in boxing. And their fight has been talked about for a long time. They spent most of their careers together at Top Rank, which is a fight. If you ever ask Bob Arum, he'll tell you that was a fight that Top Rank, down the road had their eye on at some point when they were going to be, closer in weight to each other, because obviously Teofimo had started off, a little bit heavier than Shakur, but they would eventually catch up to each other. They're both Olympians, by the way. Teofimo he's American, but he fought for his parents' country of Honduras in that same Olympic Games. It was Shakur Stevenson winning a silver medal for the United States. I mean, they have all kinds of accomplishment. I do think they have a healthy respect for each other. They know each other for all the years being at top rank events together. They fought on the same undercard twice when the main event was Terrence Crawford, who was obviously very close to Shakur, but Teofimo was on those shows also. So, and they're doing it in the right place. This is not a fight they're taking to a place that doesn't make sense. All respect to the big matches they do in Saudi Arabia, but this is the kind of fight that belonged in America, and it didn't belong in Las Vegas. It belongs in New York City at Madison Square Garden. Teofimo is from Brooklyn. Shakur is from Newark, New Jersey, which is a 5-minute train ride from Midtown Manhattan. I mean, it's got everything you want to see. The Garden hasn't had a lot of big fights in the main arena over the last few years. The last one they had was the third fight between Katie Taylor and Serrano. But before that, it'd been, a couple years, I think, since they had a main arena fight. So this is a big time fight.
Tim Bradley, a former world champion and highly respected analyst, dove deep into the technical aspects and what this fight means for boxing's future. Bradley emphasized how this matchup perfectly captures where boxing is headed, with elite young fighters going head-to-head to establish the pecking order for the next era. He connected this to Devin Haney's championship run, explaining that fighters like Stevenson represent a new wave that prioritizes pure skill, ring intelligence, and tactical mastery without sacrificing heart. For Bradley, this represents a defining moment for both Stevenson and Lopez to cement their legacy, demonstrating how today's fighters blend devastating physicality with surgical technical precision. Bradley stressed that fighters like Stevenson are redefining what elite boxing looks like with their focus on pinpoint accuracy, lightning speed, and chess match mentality, forcing their opponents to completely step up their game. Lopez, who's built his reputation on explosive athleticism and devastating power, faces the challenge of matching Stevenson's calculated and patient approach. Bradley explained that upcoming fighters watching this clash can study both styles, Stevenson's scientific precision and Lopez's ability to impose his will and deliver under the brightest lights. In Bradley's eyes, this fight transcends just these two competitors, serving as a statement about boxing's direction and continued growth as an art form.
Going at it again. Yeah, I think Devin Haney setting the trend. Devin Haney setting the trend. Yeah. Yep, he's setting the trend. Now all these young guys starting to test themselves against each other now. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. We want to see who the best is, yo. And then the winner of this fight right here needs to fight Devin Haney. Why not? Why not? Keep it going. Keep it going. But anyways, look, this is a message, man. Anybody that's going to be working that hard, y'all better make sure y'all do y'all damn homework. I'm talking about any commentators, any host, anybody. Do your damn homework, man, for real. You know what I'm saying? Because this not going to be one of them fights where it's going to be rock'em sock'em, both guys hitting each other and stuff like that. No, it's going to be small, little nuancey type of things that if you don't know what you watching, you can't tell us what the hell is going on. All the fans at home going to be like, what's going on? You know? That they don't have the knowledge that you supposed to have to give us some food for our damn thoughts. So do your damn homework on this, okay? Oh, that go for everybody that's gonna be calling this fight, because there's every offense that, or every type of any offense that's gonna be landed, it's gonna have to be earned or set up. Both these guys are intelligent, right? Teofimo Lopez, explosive as hell. He's smart as well. Shoot, you got to remember, this man was the first man to beat Lomachenko. Yeah, well before Haney. Yeah, So, look, check this out. And you already know Shakur Stevenson. You know what he bring into the ring. Defense first. Yep, defense first. You ain't getting nothing. I'm going to get mine when I get mine and when I want to get mine, but you ain't getting nothing. So, look. Y'all might perceive this fight as being boring and this and that. This is going to be one hell of a technical battle that I can't wait to see.
Another expert opinion in this conversation centered on how Teofimo Lopez performs when the lights are brightest. Experts pointed out that Lopez seems to unlock another level exclusively when facing world-class opposition, with his performance directly tied to the caliber of fighters standing across from him. Against Shakur Stevenson, Lopez will need to access every ounce of his ability, requiring perfect timing, explosive power, and razor-sharp reflexes to stay in the fight. This creates a scenario where both athletes will be forced to showcase their absolute peak performance, with Lopez needing to blend his natural aggression with smart boxing and tactical discipline. The breakdown highlighted that Lopez's instinct to press forward and hunt for the knockout must be balanced with patience and calculated aggression. Against someone with Stevenson's skill set, wild swinging or mistimed attacks will get punished immediately. Stevenson's mastery of range, ability to read Lopez's patterns, and knack for seeing punches coming makes Lopez's job exponentially more difficult. Lopez.
Teofimo Lopez needs opponents like Shakur Stevenson because they are elite fighters. He needs that to bring out the very best in him. I just can't see how it's possible that whilst Teofimo, we've seen a ceiling with him in terms of he's been beaten by certain opponents, we know that he can lose in the ring, but I don't know if that's a genuine ceiling, because I think that his ceiling is actually one of the most changeable in boxing based on who's in front of him. And so actually, I think there's a very, very good chance we're going to see the best possible version of Teofimo Lopez in the ring against Shakur Stevenson. But we should talk about Shakur Stevenson before we get into the nuts and bolts of the fight, what it might look like, and why it is so risky for both men. Now, Shakur Stevenson is currently undefeated. He's 24-0 with 11 KOs. He turned pro back in 2017. He's the same age as Teofimo Lopez at 28 years old, both men in their athletic primes. He's 5'8". I mean, these are on paper heights, so potentially a little bit shorter. He could even be a bit taller than Teofimo Lopez. I really need to see them next to each other.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.